Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video here on my YouTube channel. Last month I dropped a video on how to color grade a particular swimwear shoot I did, and looking at the views I got from that video, I realized that a lot of people, and also looking at the DMs I had, looking at the messages I got, a lot of people are interested in how to color grade their images. And I believe I can't teach you how you can color grade your image, but I can help you understand the basic things needed to be able to color grade your images to make them look like how you would want them to look. So in this video, I will take you through well, I would want it to be a series of videos where I let you understand certain tabs here in Lightroom where you can move from one point to the other, like how I changed this particular picture from what it was before to this. Before I get into this video, don't forget to subscribe. As usual, don't forget to turn on the bell notification icon to be notified whenever I drop a new video. Obviously, I'll drop a different video aside this one where I literally explain the next step to color grading this video. So I shot this somewhere last year, 1st November, and I would want to show you guys what I will do when I have this particular image. So this was shot with an ISO of 100 f4, shutter speed of 1/1000, using a Canon 6D with a 35 mm. So there are five, I think five, yeah, there are 5 tabs here in Lightroom that will make your color grading journey very easy. And if you understand these tabs, I think you'll be one of the best color graders to be out there in your own game. So there's the basic tab, there's the tone curve tab, there's the HSL or color tab, the split toning tab, and the camera calibration. But first things first, let's just enable profile lens corrections and remove chromatic aberration, just to take it out of the way. Now here in Lightroom, I don't know the Lightroom you're using, but I'm using Lightroom 2020. Well, not the updated version of 2020 because it's the old one, and yeah, there are some features here I would want, well, I have that maybe if you're using the old Lightroom you wouldn't have, or maybe if you're using a new one it will look different. But I'm sure whatever it is I'll say here today will probably be the same. So looking at raw files, whenever you shoot a raw file on your camera, let's say you shoot in the neutral profile, you shoot in the standard profile, in the faithful profile, in the landscape profile, the picture you see with the saturated colors you think you have is a JPEG format. That's what your LCD screen shows you. But the moment you shoot in RAW and you bring into post-processing, the post-processing software, whatever post-processing software, being it Capture One, Lightroom, or Photoshop Camera Raw, will change the profile in which you shot in to the profile they think is good for you. So in Lightroom, Lightroom will change it to Adobe Color, and this is what you see here. So there's Adobe Color, it's Adobe Neutral, Adobe Standard, and Adobe Monochrome, right? So by default you have Adobe Color. You can change all these, but with this new Lightroom, I can change from the Adobe Color to the kind of color I want, the color profile I want, or I chose when I was shooting. So as at that time I was shooting camera neutral, right? So looking at Adobe Color and looking at camera neutral, there's a dialed down saturation level, but I think I'll go with camera standard. What camera standard does is that it makes the skin tones more richer. And with with Canon cameras are quite have this problem where they can't really pick the color of the dark skin. And dark skin, majority of the time, the dark colors, let's say black colors or dark skin, have more of purple, magenta, reds, and yellows in them, right? So if I really want to mimic how the skin color is supposed to look, I would have to do some manipulations in my HSL tab. But that's not what we're about today. We're about the basic color tab, or basic adjustment layers here, or the basic tab here in Lightroom. So after changing my profile to camera standard, I think I like what I'm seeing with the temperature, because it was warm enough. If I want it more warm, it can go up high, but I believe I love what the camera gave me, the temperature it gave me and all that. The next thing I think I will do is to reduce the saturation, make it less saturated, right? And what happens is that it takes, if I should reset this, it sends the overly saturated skin tones down a notch and makes it look less saturated. With my images, I believe that keeping your images saturated has to give you a different information, and keeping them less saturated also gives you a different kind of information or vibe you're looking out for. So whenever I do that, I try and reduce the saturation when I change my profile from Adobe Color to Adobe Standard. There are different filters also here you can use. There's the artistic, right? You can play around with the artistic. There's also the black and white versions. There's the modern. And the good thing about this Lightroom 2020 older version is that when I choose any of the filters here, I can reduce the amount I want it shown on the image. There's also the vintage, depending on what you're looking out for, depending on the base you want to build your colors from. So this can be your base of color grading, then let's say you build up from here. But for me, I want my foundations to be camera standard. So I have my saturation reduced, and I'll bring up my vibrance a little bit. So what these two are doing is that the saturation, I would want to explain saturation, but I think I will need to suggest a link for you to watch. Saturation literally brings out every color. It doesn't matter if reds are higher than yellows or blues are higher than greens. It just tones down. If you're reducing the saturation, it brings everything down, no matter the level at which they are. But with vibrance, what vibrance does is it looks at the less saturated color in the picture and it brings it up to the level of the most saturated color in the image. And after that, after they are all on the same level, they all travel the same way up, if you're increasing your vibrance. And same goes for the opposite side. So if you're reducing your vibrance, what it does is it looks out for the most saturated color, then it brings it down to the level of the less saturated one, then they tone down in the same plane or in the same level of toning down your colors. I hope I made sense, but I'll just put up a video for you guys to, I'll link a video up here if I can find a particular video. But right, so this is what I think I will do. Then maybe looking at the histogram, I think I'll pull up my shadows a little bit, bring down my whites. On my whites, I need my whites in there. Should I bring down my highlights? Yeah, I think so. Let me turn on the clipping marks by holding J on the keyboard to see. I don't think anything is being clipped here. Maybe boost up my contrast. So if I should move up my contrast, I'll move up my blacks so that I don't get too much darks in there. Then maybe I'll bring down my shadows because I've moved up my blacks. I really don't like adding clarity to my picture, neither dehaze. I don't think I would have to dehaze anything in here. My exposure seems okay. I can bring it down a notch to make it look this way, and if I should bring it down, maybe I just push up my whites. I think I'm clipping my whites, then increase my shadows a little bit. Yeah, so just the basic tab alone, changing of the profile from Adobe Color to Adobe Standard, playing around with the saturation and fixing the tone of the image, sends it from this to that. So this is quite like something small in a big ocean, and I believe in the next video, when we move from the basic to, I would want to tackle the HSL tab before we come to the tone curve. then you would understand how best you can move your images from, should I say, a boring state to a more interesting state. So even with these little adjustments, you realize that the image has been changed from this to that, right? And so in next week or in the next video, I hope to explain more on color grading. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to leave a like if you found this informative, and don't forget to leave a comment down the comment section below if you have any problems concerning this particular video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.